Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Lifestyle with Dr. Mobi. And today we are welcoming great guests from all across the world, from Korea, South Korea. And she is actually a specialist for healing. And she's going to introduce herself. Probably I'll let her give more intro. So here is our Kate Emerald. Kate, all to you. You can tell us about yourself and so forth.
Thank you, Dr. Mobi and audience for hosting me here today. My name is Kate Lee Emerald. I'm based in Seoul, South Korea. I'm an entrepreneur, healer, and astrologer, and a social reformer. And I I love the divine, if you know what I mean. So I blend psychology and spirituality to helping people integrate mind, body, and soul. And I have educational background of psychology, education, business, urban planning, and astrology and spirituality. And currently, I'm building a business to help our audience get empowered by learning from the experts talking about things that are considered stigma, like mental health. And so when we get the experts talking about, normalizing emotion, then people will start talking about this. And so our hope is to have, a dialogue with society so that people start, being embracing our human nature. We're human and we have a plethora of emotions, so we can healthily explain and mitigate what we need and what we speak our truth, yeah, so we can be a quality human being.
Mhm. And that is so important. A lot of people actually are intrigued of discussion about whether it is just physical or there's a soul, and what is the balance between those elements and mental health. So tell us a little bit why there is so much need nowadays, with not only COVID but with all the stresses going around, why we need to have a special kind of healing going on for both of entities here.
Absolutely, yeah, I love this question. mm, when we think about like a wound we have in our arm,
Mm-hmm.
and when we put a band-aid over, it doesn't really heal the scar.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so my analogy of the band-aid is that, we have been sort of lied to by society.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning, example is go to work 9 to 5. That will give you a job and that will give you a paycheck. And you are supposed to have a baby and, have a family, things like that. Those societal script that are sort of given to us. Yeah. And I look at that, right now,
Mm-hmm.
2020, a lot of happening in the world,
Mm-hmm.
and we are seeing some unprecedented events happening.
Mm-hmm.
And I like to think of it as, okay, so now the band-aid has been ripped open.
Mm-hmm.
We still have scar, that things we haven't talked about in the past. And now we can no longer delay addressing the scar, but now this is an opportunity. So
Mm-hmm.
in Chinese word, the threat, the danger, the opposite meaning of the same word is opportunity, and that's what exactly is happening in my belief in 2020.
Mm-hmm. So tell us what work you have done so far, or where are you starting right now? So what's the status current?
With the business, with the
Uh,
impact.
yeah, with your mission, where are you on that right now? Are you just formulating, or is all process and you're doing more and more?
Absolutely. Yeah, the company I'm building is an impact driven company called Life of Emerald. And right now, I am in a incubator startup program with Stanford Graduate School of Business. And in
Mm-hmm.
2 weeks, I attend Inner MBA, which sounds True Organization Network.
Mm-hmm.
And where I am with this business or impact driven company is I'm taking everything I've learned from my childhood to up until today of healing myself, and I'm putting all the puzzle pieces, what has helped me, what hasn't helped me, to creating a structure for people to come on board and start exercising self-care and speaking about what their needs are. So in a way, the platform is a way to empower um, general public that, depression is normal, sadness is normal, anger is normal. What we can do about it, we can use the expertise tools to navigate expressing anger in a healthy way, because it's a human nature. So where I am is I'm building MVP right now. And
Well,
this morning I just gave an elevator speech to investors all over the world based in America. Um,
wow.
yeah, so moving forward fast.
So that's very welcoming news for all of our audience to know. So to be here, and you would love to know more about lifestyle. So tell us, for where average person should start with. You know, give us some where average person should start with this lifestyle for your organization.
Sure. Mm, so when we look at the bell curve of the mental wellness spectrum, and
Uh-huh.
let's say on the left is labeled mental illness, right? And
Okay.
nobody wants to be labeled that.
Uh,
And on the other side of the bell curve, it's mental fitness. So people are thriving here. And we're anywhere between the bell curve spectrum, that's where our target audience is. And
mhm,
my goal is to, look at the bell curve and start from here and
mhm,
bring people by normalizing mental health,
mhm,
making it less pressure on individual to talk about it, so
mhm,
that eventually we're bringing people into the spectrum of thriving with mental fitness.
mhm,
And so the prototype I've created is the question, are you lonely?
mhm,
So if your answer is yes, then we say, okay, we have a solution. Come on, come to our Zoom meeting. Here's your ticket. And the ticket would be like a gym membership, or, the ticket is like attending an aerobics class, yoga class online. And in online space, I bring expert, and me, I'm a facilitator and audience. So the expert would be psychologist talking about the benefit of collaborating in community that would reduce depression rate and by what percent.
mhm.
And then audience will start share, oh yeah, I've been feeling lonely because of COVID and blah blah, except for example.
Yeah.
And the expert will guide us by saying, okay, I understand, this is normal, you know, and here is what we can do together.
Mhm.
Let's do this exercise to open up your lungs, or stretching to get the air in so that you feel more joy, things like that. So we're doing educational session, also collaborative measures, so that people are feeling heard and a part of a community.
Mhm. Oh, well, that's a great mission. And, I think when I also checked your website, and I was really intrigued by all the work you're. It's great to have more educators and, coordinators, which really focus on our lifestyle and try to improve that through education, self motivation, building confidence. So one important thing you mentioned about loneliness, and actually in UK, I think there's a ministry or some kind they have for people who are lonely, so that they can call that and get some help. So that's a great, when you told me that you have that kind of concept you're trying to help here, is to, if you're lonely, if you feel lonely, or you feel you need a company to talk to, or you need to do some exercise with us, join us by Zoom. We have all kind of specialists who can help all that. It's a great idea. So also tell us a little bit about mental health, we talked so much about how is mental health, yeah, where you are and compared to here. Tell us a little bit about Korea first.
Sure. I'd say, there's stigma is real here too.
Uh-huh.
And there's a lot of, should and shouldn't do, that type of a narrative in the society. And from, from an observational perspective, looking into the Korean culture, people are generally, busy on their day-to-day task. And so you can't really tell they're suffering or not. But if you're looking at them with a spiritual eye, like you can look at aura and their energy level, I can definitely see that some of them are not happy. And so that would be my way of looking at, okay, this society is healthy, this person is healthy, about what percent, and things like that. So when I look at South Koreans, they are, very focused on practical things, providing, food to family, and therefore their health is takes secondary for men and women to to do what is due diligence, like duty of the family. And also in corporate culture, people are, collaborative in terms of uh, collective mission. However, that makes them, that makes people suppress their personal need.
Mhm.
And overall, when we look at, the benefit of collectivist culture is that there in the field there is mutual feeling of I belong here and safety. And so
Mhm.
there is that pros and cons. And I lived in America half of my life, and living there, it is a sort of a complete opposite on the spectrum of collectivism and individualism.
Mhm.
And American culture, I noticed that it is an individualistic culture, meaning people have more autonomy to say yes, no, I need this and that, no. And the I'll touch on the pro about that, but for now, con is that it leaves people on silos to collaborate and ask for help when they feel sad or this. On top of that, society, patriarchal society, sort of like there's a script, don't talk about emotion,
Mhm.
right? Things like that. So
Yeah.
the pro about the individualistic culture is, there's invention, there is like action, there is warrior like strength in
Mhm.
individual selves. So my thinking is, if we were to blend the collectivism and individualism and meet in the middle for Western and Eastern cultures to amplify the positive traits, I think we have a good model to
Yeah.
thrive.
Yeah. And that is so true. And I mean, I'm from also Asian background, and our culture is kind of very similar in that respect, that we have families and they live together. If you get burnt, or if you are kind of, if you have these caregiver burden or whatever, you don't express that, and that could be toxic sometimes. Like you're saying, there could be collectivity versus individuality, and sometimes they might be really, but for them to show that emotion, or could be parents or could be other way around, but for them to tell the kids that no, we are really getting burnt from it's causing us depression or whatever, they would never say that, or nobody would say. Could be spouse, could be anybody, but they will never say to the other person. um, that's my culture, same thing, and probably in yours too. But in US here, the people will say something, when they, and they have to have some happy medium, like you're saying, could be both cultures somewhere in between, the right answer,
Absolutely. Yeah.
that take care of everybody and still. So those are really great thoughts, and I'm glad you have both views because you lived here and you know your some of the background. But one thing for sure in all cultures is the mental health element, which is universal. Whether it's a Korea, it's Pakistan, it's US here, all have same kind of thing, stigma, you know. Here also a lot of folks would not seek help, especially men. They will say they will tough it out, will tough it out. And they will not show that emotion side that they need help. And unfortunately, that might cause a lot of problems. And same, I think you are saying they might be lonely and but they would not seek help, or they could have answer right there. Like you said, they could do some yoga, some Zoom exercise, something very simple, maybe 5, 10, 15 minutes here and there, and move out, and that helps to get us out of that cycle of mental depression or whatever mood disorder we have. So that is, I think, a great mission you're doing. And awareness is number one thing. Second is helping them is another thing, right? So tell us a little bit about what things uh, have they done mostly in here or in Korea for mental health, like beside counseling or anything else on
Yeah, I think the question is what
what
are
are the options?
sure, sure.
Mm,
Yeah, there is some pockets of counseling. It's not popular.
mm,
Also, but the people call each other. There's Kakao group, which is like WhatsApp. People form community and talk about things, mutual activities together, and also going on a hike. Um, doing hobbies together. I say that on a good surface level, it helps people to feel connected and stay healthy because there's a mutual, there's a reciprocation of, okay, I see you, you see me,
mhm.
and things like that. And another thing that is available is that's best I can come up with right now. Yeah,
Okay.
stigma is heavy here too.
Okay, yeah, that's pretty good. Also, tell us a little bit about. I mean, that's my one of passion is sleep. Sleep is such an important part of mental health and awareness. That first of all, awareness to get a good night's sleep really heals your body. Mind and soul concept. So, how do you to see that in your programs?
Sorry, doctor.
So, I've talked about sleep.
Yeah, what was the question? You were breaking up a little bit. Can you repeat that, please?
The question is, what is the role for sleep problems or sleep improve the sleep part of for the mental health?
Yeah, absolutely. Sleep. Okay, so when we look at dolphins, what I know of dolphins is their brain don't sleep,
Mm.
and so that if when we take that analogy and imply to human brain, uh, is it true that our brains don't sleep, Dr. Moby?
No, brains do sleep.
Okay, and
So
so
brain do sleep, and thing is, for dolphins, there certain part in the brain sleeps. Okay, all human organisms, or not only human, but every organism sleeps. So some organism will sleep one part of their brain, like for birds, one part of their brain will sleep and the other would not. So because of the safety issue, so if something attacks them, they just come back. So there are some periods of lesser activity, depends on what do you define sleep. So human brain also, when we say sleep, it is still there, it is firing, and but it's firing less. That is, heartbeat is there, but it's less. all the activity energy expenditure is less. So the question is, can we have another state which is very similar, where your mind, but mind needs rest, you know? Our The question is, if we do yoga, if we do meditation, that helps those. Answer is probably yes, it does. There are a lot of if you do little nap, or even small areas where they do relaxation techniques, that helps, right? So I think that's the basic for relaxation techniques too, right?
Absolutely, yeah. So my understanding from knowing my body and what has been helpful in terms of sleep and mitigating mental health during the day is everything is connected,
Hmm.
and the quality your sleep is, the better your day can be tomorrow, and vice versa. When your day is great, then your quality of sleep can be influenced positively.
Yeah.
And so when we look at the yoga strategy, also breathing techniques, also talking to yourself positively with using I am statement, like I am healthy, I am grateful for having water nearby, I am grateful for Wi-Fi, things like that. We tend to rewire our brain structure from perhaps think having had a negative experience, from example trauma, to keep working day in and day out to improving the quality of your awakening state, so that eventually that can go into the sleep where people are sleeping with more peace and ease. So that is my theory, and that is the practical thing I've tried over years. I had depression and anxiety and
Hmm.
more plethora, and I believe those experiences led me to become a healer, and now I don't have any of that. However, there are some days that I get triggered, and I implement strategy A, B, and C to mitigate, so that that could improve my sleep state. So it's an ongoing everyday activity, and life is like a journey, a marathon, a long long adventure. And so it's not a one time fix it all, but if I want to have a quality sleep, then I better do something during the day that would improve that quality of sleep. So I think everything is interconnected.
That's true. That's true. That's so true. A lot of people who have sleep disorders. So some of the disorder we deal with is insomnia, which is lot related, and sleep apnea. So insomnia is inability to fall asleep or remain asleep good quality. So those I have most would have underlying is the stress, or there is mismanagement of your some of the mental health. So then those are spilling over when you sleep, so it's going to mess up that, and it carries on next day. So if your body cannot heal properly when you sleep, it doesn't get a good rest. So your emotions, your emotional memory, your regular memory, and your concentration, all is affected. You will be cranky, or anybody will be cranky. A lot of mood disorders have actually underlying sleep problem with it. So if you don't fix it, then it doesn't get better. You're absolutely right about positive energy. Is that if somebody who is thinking negative, it can spill over to nighttime, and really the brain is wired in such a way. You absolutely right. The positive thoughts, the good thoughts, uh, brings a new wiring. Then there's a healing going on, and some of the techniques of somebody who has a trauma. So we tell them to do these positive imagery, so if they repeat that and they imagine that, then it kind of rewires the brain. So it's part of like a dream. So when people have nightmare, if with that, that is a problem. Same thing, the brain is rewiring itself, and it gets stuck if there are thoughts and which has traumatized somebody. Then they would wake up, or they could. So that rewiring mechanism for the brain, we dreams happen to be same thing. But so if you have nightmares, it means there is something, bothering that, and that's why sleep is important. Same thing, we use a technique. People have these traumatic event. So absolutely right. We tell them to be positive, and imagine you resolve that. Absolutely right.
Yeah, your interesting point about that, doctor, is we process our emotion from a dream state. An example you gave is trauma. And
Mhm.
I dream every day, and I remember every morning what I dreamt about. And I wonder what that is scientifically. However, what I want to share is sometimes my dreams, what I see like yesterday, comes true a few days later. There's a precognitive uh, dream that it's really funny. As I'm building the impact driven company, I am also a corporate and political consultant,
Mhm.
and I do one on one consultation over online Zoom.
Mhm.
And what I help with people is get clarity in life. So this Zoom session, 60 minutes to 120 minutes,
Mhm.
will help us connect independently and look at what is your stuck pattern, behavioral pattern,
Mhm.
by looking at astrology map, as in terms of it's an evolutionary tool. It's not a fixed thing,
Mhm.
but what can we identify the pattern to break through that? And I also use Carl Jung's theory shadow work, and by looking inward, what the behavior that I have been neglecting in me, suppressing in me, is showing up in other people. Therefore, by facing my own shadow,
Mhm.
I can understand my pain and other people's behavior, so that we can respectfully and responsibly own our feelings and communicate like an adult. And so we can create a harmonious environment, let's say in family situation or colleague situation. So yeah, I do one-on-one consultation,
Mhm.
and if anyone would like to inquire more about it, I can be seen
Mhm.
on Instagram at lifeofemerald_s,
Mhm.
and my email address is lifeofemerald@gmail.com.
Okay. Okay, great. Please check her website and Insta, and will definitely share that your site too, so for people to look up. And well, thank you for giving us the opportunity. It was a great talk. We'll certainly look forward to working together in future and do more projects and talks. Thank you for watching our show. This Dr. Mobi checking out. Take care. Good night. Thank you.
Thank you.